Peace and Black Power family. Peace and blessings. Thank you all for coming back to the WUCUSU Lounge broadcast, which is weekly every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And our mission with this particular broadcast, as is the case with the entire channel, is about self-empowerment, family. Self-empowerment. You know, because so many times we're focused on external things. And I'm a staunch believer that most of our answers, most of our clarity, some of the most important revelations occur internally. And I believe that since we're into conspiracies, a great conspiracy of the society is to get us to look outwards for our answers. We're looking for the wonderful Wizard of Oz in a person, in a relationship, in a building, in an institution, in a book. And those things have their place. They are important. But foundationally, you are the prize, family. You are the prize. Not anything external to you, but yourself. I'm Brother Ajay Taimba. I'm your empowerment coach. Tonight's session is all about a very important maxim that the Greeks tried to claim as their own, but we know it comes from ancient Kemet. That maxim, that mantra is know thyself. And the rest of it is that you may know and know yourself so that you may know and master the world. So the ancients, our ancestors, saw self-knowledge as being the foundation of all empowerment, that if you can know yourself and discipline yourself, right, and manage yourself, you can discipline, manage anything else externally. Sometimes our greatest battle is ourselves. And other people or things become projections of the things we're dealing with, right? Now, you might be asking, why does this matter? And I want to say this. If you don't know who you are, and I don't mean your zodiac sign, your religion, your race. I don't mean that. I mean, know who you are fundamentally beneath all of that. Then you don't know what you're built for. You don't know what drives you. You don't know what turns you off. You're going to be lost, man. You're going to be like Dorothy in that Wizard of Oz movie. You're going to be constantly chasing other people in their dreams, constantly living vicariously through other people, when you could be, right, living your own truth and exploring the things that make you tick, right? This is very important. And I believe that most people in this world struggle or challenged with knowing who they are. And I think that's not accidental, because when people don't know who they are easy to manipulate. They're easy to get them over there when they should be over here. They're looking over there, they should be looking over there, right? Spending our money, all of this stuff, believe me, in psychology, it teaches you that things are done to keep people in a state of confusion. And once they're not clear on anything, starting with themselves, it's much easier to get their money, their time, their effort. Political parties know this. News stations know this. Educational institutions know this. And you bet to believe that religious institutions definitely know this. By the end of tonight's session, you'll have some concrete tools that I believe will help you to identify your personality type, some other things like your skills, your talents. It'll also help you to kind of map out your life purpose. We want to get into a whole lot of different things. Very excited about it. And I'm going to help you kind of map out your life purpose using this chart called an Ikigai chart. Japanese term. We'll get into it in a minute. So grab a notebook, family, and let's dive in. And of course, I'm assuming most people are going to watch the recorded version of this, right? So just keep up with me. Pause if you need to, but I think you'll find it interesting. Let's start with personality. Personality is basically your natural way of moving through the world. Are you an introvert that gets energized by solitude? Are you an extrovert who gets highly energized by being around people, being in the midst of the action, right? Do you make decisions rationally? Do you make your decisions emotionally? All of these are questions that relate to your personality and your personality type. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people may find this is corny, but knowing your personality type gives you clarity. It shows you the environments that you thrive in, the types of work or careers or vocations you will enjoy, right? And the type of people that align with you and that compose your soul tribe, which we'll be talking about next week. I've dropped a link in the chat or description section of the video to a free personality quiz that I'll be kind of referring to quickly in this video. But it's through a link called Truity, right? Truity.com. All right, so what I want you to do is go to Truity.com, go to the 16 types personality test, and answer the questions honestly and don't overthink them. Now, it will look a little something like this when you go there. Hold on one second, family. I'm gonna add this little into the stage here. Okay. So when you go to Truity.com, go to the 16 personalities test, because there's a bunch of tests. You're going to get a bunch of questions, and you see in that little video, that's me and just throwing any answers to the questions. Right? Let me stop there. So it'll be about maybe 50 questions or so. It'll take you maybe 5 to 10 minutes. The key is not to sit there and overly think each question. When you see that question, you answer intuitively what you know to be true. Don't overthink it, because then you're going to second guess yourself. The answers won't be authentic, and it'll throw the whole quiz off. Right? Now, once you finish taking that quiz, you're going to get a readout. You see here in this little video, it's showing you different personality types. It's going to show you your result, what your personality is. Right? Let me just quickly see if I can bring something up here. One second. Well, we'll skip that for now. So there's 16 personality types. This is according to the Briggs-Myers, or some say Myers-Briggs personality test. 16 personality types. And it's when you get your personality type, it'll be in the form of a 4-letter code. Might be INTJ, INTF, all different types of letters and groups of 4. Now, this is important because once you get that readout of what your personality type is, and then still this video is showing this going through the different, it's telling this person INTP, I think, is breaking down what that means to get a summary. But look, if you look here, all of these are the 16 personality types. So you might imagine is a wide variety. And what the test and the makers of it are presuming is that every human being somehow, some way falls into many of these, but there's a dominant one that we have. Each one of these personality types represents a dominant personality type that all human beings supposedly have, irrespective of race, class, gender, and all those other sort of social constructs, right? So this is very important. Now, this is important for this reason. Once you find this, most of these sites like Truity.com is really good. The test is free, but it'll just give you a very basic summary of your personality traits. If you want the 20-page summary, they won't want you to pay. So, but once you get this 4-letter code, you can go to the internet, right? And you can find out all types of stuff. So those are the 16 personality types we have there. And once you determine that 4-letter personality type, don't get stuck on the quiz. Don't pay them. Take that and type it right to the internet, and it will come right up when you put in that 4-letter code. So right here, I typed in INTJ. That's a personality type. Each one has a nickname. This is called the architect. And I looked up what type of careers are INTJs naturally aligned to. And it gives a whole breakdown. And there's several sites that will give you breakdowns. There's people also on YouTube that give their analysis too. But Don't be stuck at thinking you got to pay these people a lot of money to get the information, right? So, right, this video is going to go in. I'm not going to show it all, but it goes into the core characteristics of this one personality type. The point here is very simple. Once you get that 4-letter code, you are in business. Go right to the internet, look it up. And I'm talking about, it will tell you about your personality, romantic relationships, the types of people you rock with, the types of work that you're cut out for, the types of environments you thrive in and don't thrive in. It's quite accurate. One time as a teacher, our principal took us on a retreat and had a specialist in this test come in and test us. And once we got our code, we sat at a table. All of this type of personality, the workers sat there, right? And as everybody sat at their table and having the same personality type and talked to each other, they realized, wow, yeah, this is true. I am very talkative. I light up around people, right? I get energized and that type of thing. I'm the life of the party. These people say, yeah, I'm kind of quiet. I don't like talking a whole lot. I listen and observe. I warm up slowly. Whatever it is, I'm very analytical, right? Very interesting. So I saw it play out at least 3 times in different workshops that I participated in. Most people say these type of tests are quite accurate to their personality type. So that's very interesting. Now, I also want you to know that when you do this, this is not about putting you in a box. This is not saying, because this test said that that's all you are. That's your maximum capacity. It's just that this test is trying to isolate who are you at your core, right? It's just like if you look at zodiac signs, astrology, there's 12 signs. And you have a sun sign, which is the sign we usually say, I'm a Taurus or I'm a whatever I am. But you also have other parts of you, other parts of the zodiac, your rising sign, your ascendant, right? All these different things. So though your dominant or your moon, your dominant sign may be one thing, you have all these other zodiac signs that constitute different elements of who you are. It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. We have many things within us, but we have dominant traits too. And that's what these tests are designed to help you do. I don't want you to think that this is trying to tell you who you are like that, right? But it's important that you know these core traits and that you see it from someone out or something outside of yourself that's objective. Because once you see this, you can kind of say, hey, you can reflect now and say, yeah, that's true. You can ask relatives and friends, do you see this in me? Whatever, and they'll give you feedback. And it will really help you to make different choices. It'll help you to position yourself differently, to use your time differently. Trust me, family. Now, let's move on. Let's talk now about skills, talents, and preferences. Right? So a skill, is something that you can learn. Carpentry, masonry, plumbing, typing. A talent is something that somebody might say, that's God, gift from God. You seem to be born with it. Something that you, as far back as you can remember, you just seem to be naturally good at. Nobody sat you down, taught you. You didn't go to some get a degree to do it. You didn't have a quote unquote master teacher. You was just good, right? Right? So skill is something you can learn. You can learn how to code, play piano, whatever. A talent is something that you just naturally do well. Some say it's a gift from God, from the Most High. And then we have preferences, right? Preferences are things that you just like, that resonate with you. Some prefer wine, some prefer liquor, some prefer beer, some prefer a wine cooler, right? So preferences are things you just like. But the thing with these tests is it helps you understand all of that. That's my baby girl calling me. I have to call her back. Now, here's a quick exercise. If you're live with me, and I want to thank all of you who are live, I want you to, if you have paper to do this or do this in your mind, just think about 3 skills that you've learned in your life. Things you didn't know how to do. You went to the internet, you went to class, whatever, you got a certificate, whatever you did, and you learned these 3 skills. And I want you to think about 3 natural talents that nobody taught you. You didn't get from a book or video or whatever. You just seem to be naturally good at. Then I want you to think about, what are 3 activities that you just genuinely enjoy? You can do these things almost all day if you had the opportunity to, right? And then I want you to go back to that list of what you thought about. And I want you to see, do you notice any connection after you've done that personality quiz, that test, and you got that 4-letter code? Do you notice any connection between the personality type you were assigned and the things that you just wrote down? So, for example, I naturally spoke and wrote well as far back as I can remember. Teachers always said this. At the church, they always said this. They had me going up and speaking as a little kid. Nobody ever taught me how to speak. It just came natural, right? That shows up in my particular personality type that I did when I took the test. It shows right up there. Logical thinker, rational, makes decisions based on logic and da-da-da. Not as much based on emotional and gut feeling, so to speak, right? Writing, it all shows up. And then when I look at my preferences, my profession, teaching, community organizing, writing, just a perfect fit. So for me, all of that is real. It all makes sense. And I'm just curious to see, when you go through that and you look at your personality type, does that all gel? Does it jibe? Right? That's how it works, though. When you align your personality, your skills, your talents, the career, your friendship circles, guess what? You're going to naturally feel more fulfilled. You're going to feel like life has meaning for you. You're going to get up every day energized, right? You're doing something. You're doing stuff you love to do. Ain't nobody twisting your arm. For those of you who like to sew, ain't nobody twisting your arm to sew. You could do that all day, every day, and forget to eat sometimes. Or read if you're a bibliophile. Or do carpentry. Whatever it is you do, right? You're going to find yourself more empowered and fulfilled. Now, I want to go to another thing. I want to bring something else up on the screen for you. I came across this. I'm definitely going to be using it in my coaching. One-on-one and group is a very good tool. And this family is called the Ikigai chart. What you should see are these circles that are interconnected, interlocked. And those of you may remember from school, what do you call it when you have a chart with circles that interlock and there's the part that's intersecting, you write in? A Venn diagram. So this is like an advanced Venn diagram. Now, Ikigai is a Japanese word and term, and what it means is reason for being. This is why you're here. Notice that those Eastern peoples, of which we are one, ancient Eastern peoples, were very keen on, why am I here? What's my purpose? They were very keen on this. They felt that that was the foundation of a well-lived life, and I agree with them. This is essentially your life purpose, your life mission. And as you see, these 4 circles all have different labels. And I want you just to, it kind of makes sense. One circle is what you love. So what you do with the Ikigai chart, you write in that section. Let me remove my. Never mind. In this section here, you write what you love. So, I don't know, playing piano, cooking, writing, public speaking, hosting parties, things like that. What you love to do. And I'm assuming that you would be thinking about, this is something you could do whether you got paid for it or not. You love it so much you can do it all day, every day, and not even worry about it. If you go to the left of that, because you're going to go counterclockwise when you fill this out, it's very important you do this in this order. Go from what you love to now, what are you good at? And those could be 2 different things, as we all know, right? Okay. So what are you good at doing? And now when we say good at doing, to give an objective measurement, because some of us, I might feel I'm the greatest balladeer since Luther in my mind. My baby girl over here might say, oh, babe, no, stick to organizing and teaching, right? So what you want to do is think about when you do this thing, what does the community say? What feedback do you get? Do people say, oh my God, I heard you sing. I read that poem. I saw you perform this. I saw that home you decorated. Oh my God, that is unbelievable. How did you do that? Right? So try to be objective, family. I know we all want to be pro football stars and singers, but be real and honest with that. What you're good at doing. Now you go around to the next circle, the third circle. What can you be paid for? Interesting. So out of all these things, what can you be paid for based on what you love, based on what you're good at? What can you, in other words, what can you make a living from? Right? And then the last circle, the fourth circle, is what does the world need? Right? So as you go through each one of those things, you're going to come up with particular answers to them. This will be like one little sentence. These don't have to be full sentences. You could bullet them. But here's what you do. I'm going to go on to this. Let me just stay here. If you look at that diagram, each one of them have intersections. And as you go through the diagram, you're going to see, right, that what you love and what you're good at is your passion. What you're good at and what you can be paid for is your profession. What the world needs and what you love is your mission. And taken together, all of these converge. So you're going to write in your passion, what you love, what you're good at. What is that? Put it in the passion section. What I'm good at, what I can be paid for, what is that? Put that in the profession section. What I can be paid for, what the world needs, put that in the vocation section. What the world needs, what I love, put that in the mission section. And when you take all that together, you're supposed to take those sentences now, those little bullet points you wrote, look at all of them and try to take that and put it in a sentence or two. Because all of those taken together, family, are going to reveal to you what you're here for. This is your reason for being. The reason you're so good at these particular things and that you love these particular things, right, jibe with what the world needs. And now you have to may have to use your innovative thinking to find out, okay, how can I take my love of jazz piano? I'm good at piano. How do I make money from it? Well, you could teach it. You could be like my Uncle Wesley, rest in power. You could be a jazz pianist. You can actually hire out your talent. You can play for a band or whatever, right? Or teach people. What does the world need? You're saying, well, IJ, people don't need jazz pianists. Who said? The world needs beauty. The world needs art. The world needs to escape all the craziness going on in the world. How do we do that? Through entertainment and art. And guess what? Jazz, playing that jazz piano, being in a jazz band, that is art. People come and hear that and it helps them what? Relax and just stop thinking about all the mess and stress outside. So when you find all these four things and you're honest, family, honesty is key here, right? You're going to emerge from that knowing who your true self, so to speak, is, right? Okay, let me get out of that. All right, so I dropped the link in the chat description to that free personality quiz from truity.com that I hope you will take. Remember, you're taking the 16 personality type quiz. They also have an Enneagram quiz, which I strongly suggest you take as well. The Enneagram quiz is very good too. But for this section, we're doing the 16 personality quiz. Remember, they're going to try to get you to pay to get this really detailed chart. I'm telling you, don't do that unless you got money to throw away. Get that 4-letter personality type and go to the internet and type it in. And you get all the stuff that you need. All right? Don't let these people take your money. All right? Also, I want to say, just going through my notes, family. If you do all of this, you listen to what I say, you took the quiz and you did the the ikigram and you answered the skills and the talents and it doesn't quite seem the job, that's okay. This is a process. For some people, it'll happen immediately. They'll see, oh, this is what I'm here to do. It makes sense. They'll go back in their life. They'll see what they were rewarded for, praised for, what they do well. It all makes sense for them. For others, it'll be like, I don't know. That's all right. Keep working at it. But even if you see 2 or 3 overlaps that make sense to you, even if you see a few things in that personality type that you say, yeah, that is me. That's what people say. And I'm always giving the facts, and I'm I'm like Mr. Spock, the facts and the rationality. This one is a little more lively with it, right? Then take that and run with that. The point here is that these activities taken together, the personality type, looking up the summary of what your personality type is, looking up your career sort of options, looking up the types of people you vibe with, the types of environments that you thrive in, and then doing that Ikigai chart. And by the way, I linked that Ikigai chart in the description section of this video, so you can click that, get it right here from WUCUSU Empowerment Coaching. Click it and you'll get it right to your computer. You can print it out or what have you, and then write in it. Right? You can do the same with the personality quiz. I gave you the link right in the description section of the video. The point here, family, is that there's no one-stop shopping when it comes to self-empowerment. It is a lifelong process. These are just tools to help you start understanding and seriously thinking about who you are beyond the different constructs we were given, right? Beyond those things, who are you in your core, right? Because that will really give you clarity, direction, and purpose, and it'll keep you out of a lot of bad situations and disingenuous people, and it will keep you something that's very important. It'll keep you hopeful and energized, right? You won't be demoralized as much. You'll bounce back from things quicker. You'll get depressed and you'll have your bad days, but when you have this knowledge of self and you feel that I have a place in this world needs this thing I do, right? And I do this thing well and I have value. It changes the game, family. You're more resilient. You ain't moping around a whole lot. You're gonna see. I'm telling you, this is real talk, right? So in this, if we were to do a recap, this is what we did tonight, family. In under 30 minutes, discovered your personality type. We listed out your skills, talents, and preferences. You started thinking about that, right? You started filling out your Ikigai chart to identify your life purpose, your reason for being here on this planet. That is so important. As a teacher, I wish that was a course in school. I wish that they taught people, how do you identify why you are here? It is a game changer. Trust me. The people I know that went wayward in life early when I was young, one thing they had in common was that they didn't seem to be able to lock in on why they were here. And so because they were confused, they kind of, whichever way the wind blew, that's the way they went. Right? But if you said, no, I'm here, I'm going to be a great poet, I'm going to be a great writer, I'm going to be whatever, what did you do? You started studying. Well, what did the great poets do? What did the great writers do? You started working on writing. So while other people was over there doing whatever they was doing, you was focused getting stuff done. And over the years, you got better at it. And then you started working at it. And then you contributed to the community. You see how it works? Don't sleep on this. It's very important. And particularly if you're young watching this, very important you get the earlier you can get this, the better. But if you happen to be 85 years old watching this and you did this and you got something you didn't know, it ain't too late. I'm just saying, if you can get it young, it will save your life so much stuff. And even when you go through your mess and stress and nonsense, having this knowledge gives you a foundation to help you bounce back. You'll come back quicker than you would if you didn't know this, right? So, family, remember, empowerment starts with clarity. This ain't about getting no money yet. We ain't talking about that. We're not talking about all this. We're talking about, what's your foundation? Your foundation is, who am I? Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. She couldn't get home. She was lost, right? She had to get home. And many of us are like that. And I don't want anyone sitting here and said, man, I'm so and so years old. I never thought about these things. And wow, I feel, man, I'm a loser. No, we learn at different rates. We have different people in our lives, different home training, different experiences, family. But now that you know what you're going to do with it, right? That's what we're here for. So, family, I want to thank you for joining me for another session of the WUCUSU Lounge, where we teach our people to wake up, clean up, stand up through self-empowerment, through getting ourselves together. Because as Public Enemy said, we got to get ourselves in check, or else it's self-destruction. We're heading for self-destruction. Thank you for being with me tonight. I'll see you next Monday, same time, for another session. And next Monday, family, I'm excited. We're going to be talking about something my brother Yusuf Bunches Shakur just brought up. I think about it all the time. What is the soul tribe? What's the benefits of having one? How do I discover mine? That's what we're talking about next week. So until then, family, stay empowered, stay focused, and be true to who you are, and love who you are, and develop who you are. Peace and blessings. Thank you for joining.